Our next speaker is going to be Liz Mooney. Her mom spoke a little bit earlier, Pam. And what's interesting with Liz, she's on our advisory board. She's the president of the Arch Students for Life. Arch, again, is the homeschool group in the county. What's over 200 families? Over 200 families. It's a large group. Anyway, Liz came up with a proposal. She brought it to our Frederick County Right to Life board meeting last month, and she and I had a Zoom meeting with CareNet's director, Linda King, and Laura Bogley, the executive director of Maryland Right to Life. And as far as helping that single mom, helping mom who may be in a crisis pregnancy where she's scared, she's not sure, and it was approved unanimously by our board, and the executive director, Laura Bogley, I work with all the time, of Maryland Right to Life, she wants us to present it to the executive board meeting for Maryland Right to Life, April 27th. So Liz, proud of you for that proposal. And she's going to be talking about the abortion pill reversal, what it is, how does it work.
The new command I give you, love one another as I have loved you. So you must love one another. By this everyone will know that you are my disciples if you love one another. This is my favorite Bible verse, and it tells us how to live our lives. And the scary thing happens is when people refuse to listen to this. When people decide that some aren't worthy of love. When some aren't worthy of rights, some aren't worthy of life. We see this happen in the Holocaust when it was deemed that Jews were not worthy of love. We see this happen in slavery as well, and we see this happen with human trafficking and abortion, both of which are decided that people don't deserve love here. People can be used for others' benefits. My name is Liz Mooney, and today we're going to be talking about the silent public health crisis, so human trafficking and abortion. And these two work so closely together. They help each other in one of the largest scandals that nobody knows about. So before we go into how they're connected, let's talk about just human trafficking. So human trafficking is the fastest growing crime in the world. It's the third largest criminal enterprise. This is a business. People make a lot of money off of this. It generates a profit of $150 billion per year. And so when you hear the term human trafficking, 80% of that is sex trafficking, 20% is labor trafficking. Today we're going to be focusing on that 80%. So sex trafficking generates a profit of $99 billion per year. A study by the Urban Institute estimated that pimps can make anywhere between $5,000 to $32,000 per week. The average age a minor enters into sex trafficking is between 12 to 14 years old. This age becomes younger and younger each year. It shows you how truly evil this is. Every year, 32 million people are sex trafficked in the world. The ILO, an international labor organization, they released the global estimates of modern slavery in 2022, and they estimated that at any given time in 2021, there were approximately 6.3 million people in forced commercial sexual exploitation. This is also something that is happening all around us. Events like the Super Bowl, Formula One, NASCAR, these are hotbeds for sex trafficking. The pimps will bring their prostitutes, and they will have clients and new recruits as well. And when you hear the term pimps, that can be male or female prostitutes. They can be children, old, young, male, female, it doesn't matter. Everyone is affected by this. So how does somebody become sex trafficked? How does somebody get in that loop? Because kidnapping, those who are in sex trafficking aren't usually kidnapped. So how this happens, you'll hear the term grooming. So what the sex traffickers will do is they'll meet a vulnerable person. And let's say this person doesn't have a lot of love. Maybe they have a hard situation at home. There's stuff wrong with their parents, maybe financially, addictions. And so the trafficker will prey on their vulnerabilities. They will give them what they don't have. They'll give them love, care, compassion. But it's so evil, and that is how they get people to be reliant on them. When I was preparing for this talk, I read many stories about people who had once been sex trafficked, and some even said that they loved their trafficker. And so that helps you keep in mind, when I was learning about this, the relationship between how sex traffickers get people to join them and how Satan gets us to fall into sin is scary how similar that is. So that was a little bit about human trafficking. So now let's talk about the abortion pill. And I'm going to show you a video that explains it medically so you can just understand and see how that works out. 1 second.
In this video, we're going
Okay then. So I'll just explain it. it's I don't know.
Switch stuff.
This is it's all, I don't know. It's okay. I can just. Okay then.
the developing baby will detach from the uterine wall.
Here,
Okay.
you can listen to it.
Do you want to listen to it?
And die of starvation. In this video, we're going to talk about the abortion pill. Please be advised that this video contains graphic content. Often known as medical abortion as opposed to surgical abortion, the process of abortion by pill is only considered medically safe in the first 9 weeks of pregnancy. Sometimes abortionists perform it later, despite dangers to the mother. When a woman goes to an abortionist for abortion drugs, they give her mifepristone, known as RU-486. Usually, the pills are given to a woman to self-administer at home. RU-486 overloads progesterone receptors in the uterus. Progesterone is a natural hormone necessary for maintaining the uterine lining throughout pregnancy. As mifepristone blocks it from the uterus, the developing baby will detach from the uterine wall and die of starvation. Children killed in this way might have been just conceived or already developed down to the fingers and toes. At any stage, the child is now dead. However, the baby still needs to be removed from the mother's body, so the next stage is to take misoprostol, a drug that induces strong uterine contractions and often heavy bleeding. This can last some time and usually involves severe cramping. Vomiting is also common. Again, the abortionist often gives the pills to a woman to take at home. Even more than the mifepristone, taking misoprostol is likely to be a difficult and painful process, which a woman will usually go through alone. Sometimes misoprostol is given as the only abortion drug in a series of pills. In this case, the child dies in the process of being expelled from the uterus. In the end, the mother expels her dead child from her body along with a lot of blood. She can hold him or her and maybe count the fingers. The final stage of the abortion is a follow-up consultation with ultrasound or blood tests to confirm that the woman is no longer pregnant, but sometimes doctors skip this step. No matter the situation, abortion pills are profoundly harmful drugs, psychologically, morally, and even physically. They do nothing to solve any problems for a woman, but simply leave her alone with a dead son or daughter in the palm of her hand. If you found this video helpful,
Okay, so if you can't remember all the medical terms, the easy way I remember the abortion pill, how it works, is the first pill starves the baby, the second pill induces labor, so you don't have to, if that helps you remember instead of the medical terms, that's how I remember it. And so this next video is going to be on the abortion pill reversal.
A medical abortion is an abortion that is performed using medication, using pills, a medication called RU46, or the abortion pill. The abortion pill is actually two pills. It's mifepristone and misoprostol. The woman takes one pill of the mifepristone, then 24 to 48 hours, takes 3 pills of the misoprostol. And after taking the 3 pills, she begins to have uterine contractions and bleeding and expels the pregnancy after that. So abortion pill reversal is an intervention that attempts to rescue the pregnancy, to reverse the abortion pill process. And what it involves is giving the woman progesterone and giving it in high enough doses to block the action of the mifepristone. Abortion pill reversal is initiated within 72 hours of taking mifepristone. It has to be initiated within that time frame and before misoprostol is given. If misoprostol is given, then the abortion can't be reversed. So there's an initial pilot study that showed that using progesterone is highly effective and safe to take in preventing, in reversing the effects of the mifepristone. They looked at about 500 patients who had taken the initial mifepristone pill, changed their mind, decided that they did not want to go through with the abortion, and sought help through the abortion pill reversal program. It works about 2 out of 3 instances that it's used. Those women were able to successfully carry their pregnancy after taking progesterone. In the medical community overall, there's this notion that a woman doesn't change her mind. And so there's no need for this kind of service. But as a matter of fact, yes, some women do have regret taking the mifepristone, and that's what the program is there for. A national hotline was put in place where women could call and be directed towards physicians in their area who prescribe the progesterone for them. With this program, it's a very tangible way of helping women in crisis, and I find that to be very rewarding.
Okay, so sorry there's no video, but hopefully that explained it well, the abortion pill and the abortion pill reversal. So the abortion pill, let's talk about that for a little bit. These are not safe pills, and you'll hear the pro-abortion movement call them safer than Tylenol and penicillin. This is not true. It kills a baby, and it hurts the mother. Some side effects for the mother include pain, bleeding, fever, infections, incomplete abortions, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, dizziness, flashes, hemorrhage, blood clots, undetected ectopic pregnancies. These are life-threatening if there's no medical help. And also Rh-negative mothers can experience infertility. That's a topic for another day though, as well as death. People have died from these pills, and the mothers have died from these pills, as well as many children. So these pills are FDA regulated until 10 weeks. However, pro-abortionists will say it's safe way past this. I've seen it, they say up till birth, which is not true, and it's absolutely terrifying that they're saying that. So the NIH praises abortion on their one website, and at the bottom of the page they say the risk of death appears to be 10 times greater with chemical abortion than surgical abortion. These are not safe. And just to help you understand that, this stat was once done with 1,000 women who attempted chemical abortions. They took a survey afterwards. 7 out of 1,000 needed a blood transfusion. 26 needed antibiotics because they had an infection. For 50, the drugs failed and they needed a surgical abortion. 93 had medical issues that they needed help for. And so, as I said before, people will push this date. And so a survey was taken, a woman who had taken the pill after 13 weeks. 10% of these women reported a continuing pregnancy. 29 had other medical events like heavy bleeding, fever. 43% needed medical help from a provider. 18% out of all cases required a subsequent surgical abortion. So, and now these pills are available online. You can go online and buy them right now, and they'll get shipped to your house, even in states where it is not legal. In preparation for this talk, I decided I would go online and I would see what it was like to buy chemical abortion pills online. The first thing they have you do is they have you fill out a form, and then it gives you like the AI-generated answer. Then you set up an appointment with a doctor, and then you buy the pills. So I went online and I searched chemical abortion pills. I clicked the first website that came up. It was called Hey Jane. They have 75,000 users. So I decided I'd fill out the form and I'd see what they say. So the first thing I did when I filled out the form is I said I was 13 years old and I wanted a chemical abortion pill and I was living in Maryland. So I filled out the form and they said, we're sorry, we can't give you pills, however, we can get you in contact with people who can and who won't tell the authorities. We'll help you get a judicial bypass. That means that as long as you're sane of mind, you should be good and you'll get the pills and your parents won't know. You can see how this is very, very pleasing to traffickers who have minors. And the next thing, I filled out the form again, and this time I said I was 21 weeks pregnant, also living in Maryland. So it said, sorry, we can't give you the pills, but we want to let you know that you can take the pills and it will work really effectively. This is what it stated on the website. It's also medically safe to take the pills after 12 weeks. The risk of life-threatening complications, like needing a blood transfusion, is less than 1%. It's safer than many commonly used medications, including penicillin and Tylenol. As we can tell from the stats earlier, this is not true. Then the page goes on to tell you that you might give birth to a fetus and it might be a little bit bigger than what you're expecting. So they show you candy bars to show you how big it will be. Also at the end of the page, they say you might give birth to a baby, and then just ended right there. It also told you how to dispose of the fetuses, and one of their options was you could bury it to commemorate the experience. So you can see how this online way of obtaining pills is very nice for human trafficking. And now these women, they can get the pills shipped to their house, and they're doing these alone in their bathrooms. Think of the mental trauma that comes with that, as well as physical as well. So how are human trafficking and abortion connected? They complement each other. Abortion hides up human trafficking crimes very, very well, because if a human trafficker has prostitutes and they're pregnant, now we can just get the pills shipped right to their house and they have no contact with any outside authority. So he gets away with his crimes, he or she gets away with his crimes, and these women live in this horrible lifestyle. This is terrible. And Planned Parenthood makes a lot of money off of these. So when Rachel mentioned earlier that sex traffickers use Planned Parenthood knows this. There's an organization called Live Action. They do undercover investigations of Planned Parenthood. And they went in and they had actors portraying a pimp and a prostitute. They go in and they tell the Planned Parenthood worker what's going on. The man says, I have a house of minors. Some of them, we think there's an STD going around and I need some help. I'm in the trafficking business. And the Planned Parenthood worker does not report them. Instead, she says, okay, I'll help you get through the loops. I'll help you. We can get all those girls in here. I'll give you a discount rate. It'll be perfect. I'll help you. This is Planned Parenthood, guys. Not a wonderful organization. A woman who had been trafficked and then had been released from her trafficking stated, "I was under serious pressure from my pimps to abort the babies. I got pregnant 6 times and had 6 abortions during this time. Several of them were from a doctor who was a client. He did them backdoor. At least one of my abortions was from Planned Parenthood because they didn't ask any questions. You went backdoor where the charge is more like $150. Sex trafficking victims are dehumanized, victimized, and controlled physically, and now being forced to take these pills. Out of 67 women who had once been trafficked, 55% of the 67 women had 1 abortion. 30% of these 67 women had multiple abortions, and the 67 women had 114 abortions altogether. So this is terrible. So what can you do about it? The thing is, nobody knows this is a big problem. And so the first thing I would suggest is let people know. This needs to be something that's talked about. People need to know the truth about the chemical abortion pill, how it hurts women and aids sex traffickers. This isn't something we can stay silent on. I called it the silent public health crisis in the beginning for a reason, because it is silent and it's a major crisis. And if we don't speak up about these, abortion and human trafficking are going to continue, and no one's going to talk about it unless we do. We need to see the chemical abortion pill destroyed, and we need to see women and men who are in human trafficking being given the love and respect that they deserve. Thank you very much.